this up. And let me get into chat, see what's going on. Hey everybody. Alright. So it's 9:59, so I'll give it another minute or two for people to trickle in. But for today, we left off last week with setting up the trade history page, which I've got pulled up right here, and let me just scoot this over. Oh, that makes us lose it. Never mind. Okay, so this right here is this section right here. So we're done with a very, very small part of this. And actually, yep, it's still going. It's just behind. Oh, cool. Hey, from Portland. Alright, so 10 o'clock. Let's give a quick overview of what the app is and where we've come with it, and then what we're going to do today. So the goal of this app is to create this, what we see back here. This screen telling us the trade information going on between Ethereum and US dollars. And why this is a good project is because it's got a great API, there's tons of data, and more importantly, the scope of this project is really easily defined. You know, we just want to replicate what's on this screen. So it's easy for us to keep track of. What we've done on the past couple of days is set it up so that all the data that you're seeing streamed on this page here is going to be pulled into our database on the app. So and that's happening right now. And so the database is getting filled with all this data that's getting pulled in, and then we're pulling back out this trade history data and showing it on the screen here. And that's where we are right now. So we left off last week with sort of a rough trade history page. So I mean, just a couple examples of things we're missing. First off, this top bar color should be probably a darker version of this color right here, which is also this color. We've just copied the colors as well. And another thing that we're missing is these decimal points. So see here, this decimal point is not lined up quite with this one, whereas these are all lined up, and I think we could even knock out, oh, and these decimal points as well. We could change the time to be in local time. That might be useful, as well as we can get some bolding on these letters, or sorry, numbers. And this bar over here that you can't really see, let's see if we can get where somebody bought or sold more than like 40 Ethereum, or Ether rather. No, but okay, so see this green sliver here and this red sliver here. Depending on how large an order is, this will actually have a little bit of width to it. So if somebody sold like 1,000 or something, you'd see a big red bar all the way over to here. So I think we can add in that section too. Alright. So getting to the code, I think the first thing I want to do is tighten this all up. So we've got, you know, all these lines are very spaced apart, and that's just not what it looks like over here. So let's come into the code, pull you over there. And the fact that this keeps running means that it's working well, which I only say that because last time we would have this run and then we'd wait a little bit and it would hit an error because it stopped for something, and then we'd come in here and we'd fix the error, and we did that dance maybe 5 or 10 times, I don't know. But it looks like we're done with that dance for now, though of course if we see an error we'll have to fix it. But alright, so we've got this completed trade here, this layout, and this defines what each row of this recycler view is going to look like. So let's start with just making this smaller, maybe 25. And then I'm looking here at the blueprint view. Let's go with only the blueprint view. Okay, so those don't look centered vertically. I don't know that that'll actually matter though. So, I mean, we can run this real quick and see what it looks like. Yeah, oh, yep, use the emulator. So with the space between these, so like this in the top and this in the bottom being different, that'll probably be okay because it'll be, yeah, like we can't even tell. But you know, we can add that in if it starts to look a little shady. But yeah, so these, let's get those start to trickle in it, and then let's also add in another view to have the color over here on the left. Let's get that done next because I think that's a fun thing to do. So I'm going to do that with just a regular view that's going to take up the whole height of the left side of this container, and then we're going to give it a dynamic width of however big. We'll have to do some math to figure that out, but however big that is. So let's get, it's probably, I don't know if there's just a view thing we can drag out, so we'll just do that in the text tab. So let's put in a view and give it a, go away. What widths do these have? Wrap content and wrap content. I guess that works because we're going to be changing this. Yeah, we'll just do it wrap content for now and give it a concrete width, and then once we get to the code, we'll cross that bridge of how we're going to resize it. Okay, so probably give it an ID. Somehow I lost autocomplete there, that's frustrating. At plus ID slash, and we'll call this size bar, I guess. And then close this, then let's go back. It's still probably easier to set constraints in the design view though, right? Yeah, so let's give you a real width then of like 25 dp. Yep, okay, so there's our view. Be right there. Layout height, we actually want this to be match. What? Where did that 9 dp come from? That's interesting. Oh, don't give me these. Oh, should this be match constraints? No, right? Yeah. Oh, what is that called? Alright, let's look that up. Actually, I think it's right at the bottom of this doc. That'd be match parent, yeah. Match constraint, or 0 dp to attach constraints to the sides of the parents. Okay, so let's try 0 dp then. Okay, cool. So 0 dp is match parent and a constraint layout. So to just clarify that again, the constraint layout itself can be match parent, but things inside the constraint layout cannot. They would need to be 0 dp like we've got right here. Okay, so let's control tab back to here and then to the design view, and that looks good. So let's pull that in, where we set that in our adapter. We need to get our val size bar view.find, and that's cool. We're not going to install a new version of Kotlin right now. And we want to find our, this one's just a regular view, which means I don't know that we need that cast. Let's find out. Size bar. Nope, still wants it. View. Alright, so then we've got our size bar, and so let's change, let's get a color variable up here, and then we can pull out this section here. So before we only had one thing to color, right? Yeah, just this one column. So now that we've got two things to color, let's use a color variable. So we'll set the text color to color, and we will grab sizebar dot background color and set that equal to color. And then what can we do for sizebar dot width. I don't know that you can just set it like that. Let's set width equal to math.random dot well, I guess let's just times that by 50. What are you complaining about? Int, double. Okay, so val cannot be reassigned. Okay, cool. So you cannot assign width like that. Right, so what we need to do here, this is a little complicated to resize it in this fashion, because what the size is not actually a property of the view. So if we go back over here, it's layout height and layout width. And remember, in Anko, and really just in Android in general, but Anko makes this really clear, the layout stuff, those are layout parameters. So those are part of the layout parameters object that you attach to the view, or however it gets associated with the view, but it's not part of the text view. The text view does not have layout height, or this is a view. I don't know why this says text view. I guess because it's highlighted up there. But yeah, so it doesn't have that. So back in the adapter, what we really want to do with the size bar is we want to change its layout parameter width to be, whatever. So we need to get the size, which trade.size, control B, is a float, so that's good, and control tab to, was that in the same file? It was, okay, so didn't need to control tab to get away from that. Cool, so seek bar, then we can do layout params, and we can equal its, would it need to be, let's just try layout params. Yeah, just regular view group layout params, then we pass in a width and a height. So for the width, let's do DIP size, or trade.size rather. And let's see, DIP probably needs a context, which would be, I guess we could do that from the view. Let's see, so we got app database. View, we can make view a val to pull in a context here, and then it'd be view dot that. Okay. Now wait a minute. Oh no, I think we're good there. And then for the height, it would still be 0 dp, right? Which is DIP of 0, which is just actually 0. No reason to do that. Okay, so if you're not familiar with DIP here, this is another, well, I think it's from Anko. Let's find out. Yep, this is an Anko file, right? Yeah, Anko. And what this does is it just gives you DP coordinates. So, you know how you set your layouts in DP? If you want to do that easily in code, you just use the DIP function, which just requires a context. Or, I mean, here they've defined it for on a view, taking in both floats and ints, and here it is defined on an Anko context and on fragments. So you can call dip on most places where you'd expect to have a context. So if you're a fragment, a view, an activity, or just a regular context like this one or this one, you can call this DIP function, and it'll give you density independent pixels, and it just does this. So again, just another place where Anko and Kotlin really come along to just make this just easier and more fun to do. Okay, so we've got the layout params, setting it to a new layout params. Let's see if this works. I don't know if we'll need to invalidate the view or not, or request layout. Those are the two things you can do. I think invalidate makes it redraw, and request layout makes it resize as well. Okay, so we got an error. And go back, cool. Alright, so errors are, I'm kind of a big fan of errors because they tell us what we need to do. Alright, go to error, and view group layout params cannot be cast to constraint layout params. Alright, so this needs to be, and I was not sure if that would work, constraint layout.layout params. It's weird that you couldn't cast a layout params of only a width and a height. That seems like it should work, and I'm kind of surprised that constraint layout params wouldn't inherit from view group layout params. Just at first blush, but alright, let's see some trades come in. Hopefully. That's interesting. So we our size that we set in the tools window was 25, and this is 23.3, so it looks very similar to it does to kind of the default we had it set to. We're going to need at least one more though before we can say if that fits. And also, we are deleting all the data in the database when we restart this up. Okay, there we go. Well, that's interesting. Oh my gosh, that is interesting and very, very frustrating. Okay, so what happened here is it's totally working and really, really cool, but these guys, you know, we have to pass in an integer value for the width of our view, and remember in our constraint layout, an integer value of 0dp represents match constraints. So these are getting rounded down to 0 and then being match constrained to take up the whole width of the screen. So that is not ideal. Let's just add 1 to everything. That will work out just fine. So trade size plus 1. Alright, and then hopefully that'll fix that little bug. But again, that's because this value here needs to be an integer. So actually let me comma. You know, if I was in the new version of Android Studio, this would just be showing us the parameters, which would be nice. But yeah, so there. Not going to point at the screen with my finger. Width int, height int, so those have to be ints, which is why that's going to happen. And so now we're looking for one that is less than 1, and it should not take up the whole screen. Like, there we go. And it also means that these are not totally representative of what's going on because of this +1, but let's be honest, that's not going to make much difference, and this looks really good. Though it would not look so good if, you know, somebody came through with like 1,000 or a 100 or something. So we're gonna have to cap that at some point as well. And we don't need this button anymore. Let's just take a quick break, head into main activity here. This is sort of a, let's take a couple of these functions out. Like this one is delete from the database, so let's make a new function, clear database, and it'll just do that. And then we can try not clearing it, and not clearing it would probably give us data when we start it up, so we wouldn't have to wait for anything to come through. So let's just leave that as its own function, but we'll leave this here because this is useful code to have for now. As well as we can leave this that just logs everything in the database, though now that it's working I'm less inclined to keep that, but let's just take that out and put it up here with log, make a log database function. So these are just for helping us out, though right now we don't need the help, so we're going to put them out here. And why these need to be inside threads is just because that's, you know, you're doing a bunch of database access, so Android is actually going to make sure that you use a thread for that. Okay, and over here we have an order for 60 ether, and we see that that is not how we want this to look. Now, something we could do is, I mean, I don't think this is a good option, but you could keep this bar of the length that it is and change the text color and sort of dynamically figure this stuff out. But and that's possible, but I don't think it would look very good. It's just something that came to mind. I think we should put a hard limit over here and scooch some of this other stuff over in just a second. So anywho, so thread and then brackets. Also, this is this Anko or Kotlin? This is just regular Kotlin. So Kotlin gives you thread, and in brackets you put what you want to do on a different thread, and that's all you have to do to use a different thread in Kotlin. And so we don't need log database or clear database right now, so we'll get rid of those. And let's also get rid of the button at the bottom, because the button was only there to help us be able to log the database. because we needed to let it run for a little bit to have data in it. So that's why we needed an asynchronous method for us to dump the database rather than just logging it on the outset, especially since we were deleting it at the beginning. And then since we've deleted that button, we no longer need to give our recycler view an ID, because this ID was only being used, let's not Control Z quite that far, it's only being used to, right here, put the button below the recycler view. So since we got rid of that, we can Control Shift Z to redo all the way back to here, get rid of that ID, and then if we run this now, it should A, not have the button, and B, I think it should start with that. I'm not 100% sure. Because we have it set up using a live data and the architecture component stuff. I'm not sure if that'll pull in only new data to display or if it's going to pull in existing data. It looks like it pulls in the existing data. That is so cool. Everything just works. Really happy with this. Okay, let's move some things over. So first let's take a look at what we're going for. It's really close. And currently totally caught up. So that's cool. So we got this line matching with this line. So of course the times are still off. Well, let's see what the delay is. That came in about 2 seconds ago. So maybe like a 10-second delay. That's not bad, though I wonder why it's that long. Alright, so let's scooch some stuff over and put a limit on how far this bar can come over. So back in the code, and let's pull the emulator over here. Alright, look in here. And I wonder how those are positioned. So these are just constrained. There's not, I guess they're spread equally is what's going on. I don't need to pull that up. So let's get rid of this. Get rid of that. I need some more space here. Can I not zoom in or something? Ah, there we go. If there's a shortcut for zooming in there, I don't know what it is. Alright, let's take you and drag you. Nope. I guess not drag you. So I'm going to clear constraints on that guy. That cleared all the constraints. Oh, actually, let's try using the constraints button. That'd be cool. So let's put you right there. Kind of there. And then where's that? Is this infer constraints? Let's see. Yep. So, and it just kind of does it. So that's another way to do this. Since I've not had a ton of practice with constraint layouts, and I've found them to be kind of buggy, but so far this is working. I'm happy with it, and I like this button. I hope it works like that every time, and we can keep going with that. So let's just run this real quick, see what it looks like over here. And also, I wonder if there's a way to make this show up as a recycler view too. That'd be cool. Oh, and it looks like, I'm looking over at chat, it looks like I'm lagging. Is that, I guess, can I get some more feedback on that? Is this, how bad are we lagging? Should I restart things? Do you think that would be, is it that bad? Or am I pretty easy to understand? So folks, just let me know, and I'm back in the code. Okay, so there's a bit too much room between here and these two. So infer constraints, I wonder what that did in the text even. Creator, and it did some margin stuff. Wow, that added a ton of code. 0dp. And I'm really not a fan of when this is probably my least favorite part about trying to use constraint layout, is it always throws in these tools things. And what these are doing is it's positioning the elements, but it's positioning them like only for the tools. So it wouldn't look like that on the device. It's totally useless. Which is very frustrating. So go away, you big tools liars. Right, and then start. Okay, am I back? Does everything look better? And frustratingly, this is on like I don't know how long of a delay YouTube puts this on, but it's long enough that I have to sit here for like 30 seconds waiting to see if it works or not. So are we good? I hope. So I can turn the volume on over here. What? So are we good? I hope. So I can turn the volume on over. Alright, yep, I see what that is doing. That's really super frustrating. Why are you not doing that? That's all set up. Let me oh, he's out. Well, I'm gonna try to set. Let's try and figure this out. We're gonna go to, and I don't know if you guys can see the settings of the broadcast software. I'm gonna change the video bitrate down to like half of this, like 1024. That sounds like a good number. Oh, look at that. There's a little arrow down there. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset. Okay, let's see how that works. So, we have something moving on the screen. that I'll be able to look at here.
What? So we good? I hope. Oh, look at that. There's a little error down there. Encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset.
Alright, I'm getting to the part on my delayed view to see if this has worked or not. Setting the encoding to ultra fast.
Let's see how that works. Something moving on the screen. I'll be able to look at here. What? Something good? I hope.
Okay, if that's not working still.
Oh, look at that. There's a little error down there.
What? How is this replaying?
Encoding overloaded. Consider turning.
That doesn't make any sense.
I'm getting to the part on my delayed view to see if this has worked or not.
Jeez. Okay, I've got one more trick that we can try. So I'm just going to keep moving my mouse as a good test to see if everything's updating on the other screen there. If I ever start working well and you guys can hear me and everything's moving, well, I think actually the audio's been good. If we me moving and such. Craig. Yeah. Okay. But, so if anybody sees stuff moving, let me know, because I don't see anything moving well yet. I don't see us coming in. And so if I'm not... Is this playing over here? Yeah, so it just jump updated again. Super frustrating. I'm gonna bump this down. We're gonna take this, so I'm on a big monitor. Real big monitor, so we're gonna bump this down and see if that should help a ton, but also make us lose most of the room on the screen. So I would guess that would fix it. Let's see. So I'm looking over at me doing that right now, and I can see that it's not doing anything. It's definitely not working before I click on that button. Okay, so am I gonna click it yet? Yep, that is the problem. Come on, update. Oh wow, so what did that do? That made OBS lose its stuff. And it's still hardly working. What is going on? Okay. Oh, that might actually be a little better though. Alright, we're gonna stop this and start it again, and I think that might actually fix it to a degree. Starting up again, and then this should update to look like what I'm actually doing. Hopefully. That's my face. Oh, my face is moving in real time. That's my ear. But it's still not what it's supposed to look like there. And I guess that's... Is that like my fault somehow? Settings, streaming is not going to give us anything useful. Output. Yep, that's not. Actually, that looks like I was already set up to do that. Okay, so it's still... Why does it look like that? That's so strange. Lambda? Those aren't even tabs that I have open. That doesn't make any sense. So I guess I'll change the display back, but it feels like that was too big. Like I feel like it was struggling to put out all the pixels on this monitor, and then we changed it and it seemed to be going a little better. You can see, I can see me moving around right now. And so the test here is we want to see, oh boy, did I just change it? Okay. Okay, but then am I moving and working here? It looks like it. It looks like it, right? Yeah, it does. To me, that looks like it's working. What's frustrating though is that I don't know what the fix is. So, and yep, thanks Craig for the verification there. That is super, super helpful. But I wish I knew why this happened. I don't know. So let's do a quick recap, mostly for me. We went into OBS, which is Open Broadcast Software, which is a software we use to broadcast. And I went into settings, and I changed the streaming settings to use a lower, or rather the output settings, to use a lower bitrate and a faster encoder preset, because there was this little warning at the bottom that said that might work. Then that didn't work, and we restarted the stream, and it still didn't work, and then we set the screen size to be much smaller, so we took it from 4K to 1920 by 1080, and then we were able to see me again, and I could move in the little box in the corner, but the screen was really messed up. And then I changed it back to 4K resolution, and it worked. So my guess is that it's changing the video bitrate from 2500 down to 1024, and changing this thing from faster or very fast to ultra fast, I'm guessing was the solution, or just restarting it twice solved it. But either way, it seems to be resolved. So let's get on with the show. And luckily that didn't set us behind too far. And no, don't exit OBS, Ben. Are you sure you wish to exit? No. Okay, there we go. We have kept the stream alive. I didn't kill it. Alright, so it looks like this, and the emulator is of course now small because it was just on a much smaller screen. And you know what? I think that looks all right. We can space things out just a touch more. So if we click on here, are there constraints? Yeah. So I'm going to Control Z to make those constraints go away. Then pull this guy over to right about maybe there. Put this one and what's about the middle. So looks like there, right? Yeah. Then infer constraints gets all that all nice and constrained, which is cool that we don't have to really know too much about it. We can just place it and hit the infer constraints button. Cool. So we get that, and it's going to run, and it's going to pull in our data, and there we go. Looks really good. And so to fix the next bug, or not really a bug, but just so we're kind of done with the trade history page, we need to get these decimal points lined up, and we need to stop these bars from encroaching on the rest of the content over here. So remember, there's too much, you know, if this is 300, it's going to be all the way over to here and totally block out this text, because this red is the same as this red. So all the way over here, we're going to lose what price it was at, which isn't that important when there's prices around it, but still, you know, we should be good designers. Okay, so let's start with getting this column, because this is some low-hanging fruit. So let's come into our adapter, and we need, right now the price text view is just the price to string. So we need that to be the price, and it needs to be the same length with 2 digits after the decimal place. So what we could do is just pad the end of this to 5 and add zeros, and what that would do is make, or rather 6, because the decimal point, I think, and that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that would work perfectly. However, that wouldn't display as well for if it went down to the tens or the price went up to the thousands. Then we would lose a little bit. So what I think we want to do is we want to split the price string into before the, or actually we can probably use a number format, but what we could do, and what we'll do if number format doesn't come through for us, is just split the string at the decimal point, then take the parts that are after it, and then pad just that after part to make sure that it's too long, and then put them back together. Which actually, I think that might be easy enough that I don't want to look up how to do a number format, but I'm pretty sure you can just do this with a number format. So it'd be trade.price.substring after, and it'd be after that, and then what we'd want to do to that, trade.price.toString .substring after, and then after that we want to pad the end of it to make it at least too long and pad it with zeros, and then this is val before decimal, and this is going to be dot substring before the dot, and then this is going to be before plus actually let's just do this, and this will be before decimal, then a dot, and then after decimal. Right? I think so. Let's find out. And looking over at the comments, or rather the stream where I can look at it, it looks like everything's still working, so cool. Happy that that's working. Really happy, because it's so much more fun to do Android than debug OBS. Okay, so this is a problem. So the view is constrained to the text, which it should not be. Let's come in here and just quickly click on this, and how do you make the constraint go away? No, don't clear all constraints. We like those constraints, we just don't want that one. No, stop. Okay, I guess I'm gonna do that in XML. What? Give me the constraints back. Okay, we've got our constraints back, everything's good. But you need to not be constrained to that guy on the right. So that was our size text view. Is constrained to right of. Let's not do that. Let's just get rid of everything that says constraint. That's constraint right to left of. I don't understand what's going on with all this constraint stuff. It added a lot of stuff in there, but I think that should do it. What we've done. So running this again, and then we'll also look at the decimals, which we didn't look at yet. But let's see. So cool. Decimals looking great. We've got these guys no longer constrained on this side. Also really good. And then, yep, that it's all lined up. It looks great. So let's grab this, and I bet we can just scroll forever with all the data that's in here too. Which obviously we don't need to scroll forever, so let's not. All right. Then we need to make this view be not quite as long. So let's take that. That's right here. Well, let's grab a new variable or a val, and let's call it view width. And right now it is set to this. So let's put view width in here. And then what we want to set this to is, well, we need to know how big that is to know how much space we have. So let's come on over into our layout file. Then this guy, how are you positioned? To the, looks like 64 dp to the right of this, which is 116 to the right of that. So the room that this is going to have left is going to be the screen width minus 116 plus 64 dp. Let's check that. So here's 64 dp. Oh, it has margin start. Okay, cool. Why did that not show up? So it's just going to be 66 dp, right? Right. So let's give that a max of 66 dp, and we'll see. Actually, no. Let's scroll through here. We can actually, because remember this number here is the dp figure. So it's about 60, is what we can see right here. So what we probably want to max it out at maybe 58 or 57 or something. So let's just come into my adapter, get this guy, and then on the next, let's actually just make it a var, and then let's say, well, we can do it as a val. A val, and then if trade.size is greater than 58, it will be 58. And actually what we can do is we can take this view.dip and put it around the if statement, I think. If that, 58, else that. Okay, what is the issue here? These are different types. This is an int, this is a float. So now we've got float, float, and dip will work. So if trade.size is greater than 58, we're going to use 58. Else it's going to be whatever it is plus 1. And then that'll give us our bar to be respecting what we want it to. And then let's do, we can probably, let's make a method for that guy. So let's do, we're going to make a method to help us, we're going to do the same decimal stuff we did here, but also over here. And so we have how many places? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places after the decimal spot. So we'll put this fun format num decimal spots and then it's, and actually it's format num string maybe. Why not? Or no, we can just do it on int. So number, which is a float. Alright, so then format num string, price text for text. Then in here we want to return that, and then here we'll just call format num string instead of what we had before, and we'll pass in the number, which is trade.price, and the decimal spots, which is 2. So decimal spots there, and number to there. And then what do you want? Oh yeah, you don't return anything. So let's make this return a string. And cool. Got that? Everybody good? So then that should do it. So then what we need to do for the size text view text is we want to do the same thing, but let's pass in 8 for the decimal spots. So, and it's trade.size. So format num string. This is going to be trade.size and 8. And let's see if that does it. And another really cool thing about Kotlin is just how many cool functions there are. So like substring before, substring after, pad end. These are all just really useful. And I love having them available. Alright, let's check out the emulator. And decimal points. Yes, that looks great. Though it has kind of messed up the spacing that we've got here. So let's fix that real quick. Oops. We actually want Android Studio to be open. Alright, over here, let's grab this and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not a really representative number, because all of them have 8 spots over here. So 0, 0, right? Yeah. Ah, and then it makes that look fine, but I know it's not. So just be there, and it still scoots back over. No. All right, so whatever. Lots of constraint stuff, man. Alright, I'm going to clear constraints again and move this guy a little closer here. And I don't know why match parent is making you so, or wrap content is making you so wide. Little text box, you don't need to be this wide. See, you can be that wide. Oh, but then you're gonna... See, that's frustrating. You should be wrap content, and wrapping content should make you the right size. So something about this text view means that it needs this extra bit at the end. I don't understand, because these two don't have that. So it looks to be, you know, I'm guessing that's probably a bug with the UI editor and not actually something that's real. So let's just put that there. Then we'll infer constraints. And we don't want this constraint. That's a bad constraint. Remember, if we have that, if we have this, the size text view, if we have that constraint to the left-hand side, then it's going to be pushed over by the view. So we don't want that to be constrained. And actually, let's just run it to make sure that's true, because it was last time, but it doesn't make that much sense to me. Constraint right to, oh well, never mind, it is constrained to the right of the text view, not the, I was thinking it may have been constrained to the right of the edge of the screen, which would have been fine. But if it's to the right of the text view, then that is going to present a problem. Presumably. No, this looks great, actually. I wonder how that... Or is this one been pushed? I think that one might have been pushed. Let's need a bigger one. Yeah, because these decimal points are no longer lining up. 9, 33... Okay, so I think actually that is, we want a text align to the right. So let's Android text align right. And I'm sure the first or second result will just tell us what we need to do. Yep, gravity right. I think that sounds correct to me. Size text view, and then let's run this and we'll see if that fixes the issue of the ones that are more than 10, so the ones with 2 digits over there, being not lined up with the others on the decimal column. And no, it didn't do it at all. So then let's maybe get rid of our constraint on the right there. And then I'm going to go to the Design tab to see if that constraint actually is now gone. I guess so. Oh, there's a text alignment button. Let's hit that guy. Then let's not do that gravity stuff anymore. Oh, that's interesting that you wouldn't need one text end. And are you going to tell us to support older versions, you must also specify a gravity or layout gravity end? Okay. Interesting. And it's not going to give it to us automatically, so gravity. And we actually want right. We don't want end. Ugh. Text alignment equals text alignment equals, you know, I guess end was fine. Though for, now what do you want? Oh, it was right. I guess we can use end, but we really shouldn't, because, so, you know, we're not planning on this layout for anywhere that's going to be right to left instead of left to right. We're just trying to do it as it's done on the GDAX webpage. So we don't actually want, you know, end isn't what we're looking for, because if somebody is in, say, Saudi Arabia with an Android phone, this would be swapped, and then end would be the left side instead of the right side. But that's not what we've got going on here. All right, let's find one. Still not lined up. And we're gonna open up the layout inspector again to see what's going on in there. What are you doing? And scroll down to the display section eventually. Or drawing, is it drawing? It's drawing. Ah, show layout bounds, there we go. Then, okay. So that's interesting. So we've got all of these, since they're wrap content, they're all, we really want to use the same size text view for this, because our gravity and our text alignment is not doing anything because of wrap content. It's just there's no space inside the text view for it to be on the right or the left. It's the whole text view. So what we need to do is change that to be a real width. Like, let's start with 50 dp and see what that looks like. Did it change? Okay, good. 100 dp is maybe a little big, 75 dp. Why does the height get funky there? That's weird. So let's go 80 dp. 90 dp? Okay, 90 dp, and we get our height to be looking normal on the blueprint page again, which of course is, I suppose, super important. I'm not sure. Alright, so run that. And then since we've still got on looking at the layout views, we should see some space in those text views, hopefully. And yes, we do. We have a little space at the beginning. And we've got our decimal lined up right there for the 10. That's good. And of course these decimals are still lined up. These were easy. And let's see. I love that the scroll wheel works in here so I don't have to click and flick and drag on an emulator. Decimals are lining up. That looks great. 25's got its decimal. Cool. Wish we could see one that's 3 digits. And you know what? We totally can, actually. Here's something we can do. Let's go to main activity. So let's come to this add all method. No, we didn't want that. Where do we grab you? Trades. Adapter to add all trades, and trades. We clear it. Okay, so it's load match order. There it is. So instead of ordering by sequence, which is the order that the orders come in, so this would be, you know, the right ordering, let's order by size. And since we're using the architecture components, if this column does not exist, we should get an error at, I think it would it be compile time? Let's find out. Order by thing. Then let's run it. Yes, we get a compile error instead of an error at runtime. So that is the advantage of using the architecture component stuff. Well, and the fact that this is just really easy. Like, you don't have to deal with all those SQLite classes anymore. It just builds it behind the scenes, which is, you know, kind of how it should be. So it's really nice. Okay, so we have ordered by size descending. No! Oh, that's not good. Size, okay, so if you're not hey Diva, what's going on? Can you be a little more clear? Are you, like, what's the project, or what am I doing in this particular instance? So just let me know, I'll check back in a sec. I'm on a 30-second delay, so sorry. Anywho, this size guy here is I'm guessing it's a string, because when we've seen orders here that are more than 10, right? So they should be at the top, but we've got 9.98, which makes me think that when we're ordering this, it's ordering it as if it's a string, which means we're probably, or rather I'm probably storing it as a string instead of a number, which is not what we want to do then. And let's pull this over and let's actually look at that into our match orders. Match order. Yeah, so that's a size, that is a string, which is no good. Let's make this a number. Really, you can do number there? That's cool. Right, because you shouldn't be able to do float. Or actually, maybe let's do float here, but it should figure it out kind of on its own. So one of the things, when you're in SQLite, there's not float and int data types, there's just number. So that's why I typed number there, but I think since we're in Kotlin here, we'd want to use float, and that's what we're aiming at. So let's get these as float, and then we're probably going to get an error now that we've changed these, but rather than, but that's just easier than me to have to figure out where it is, because see, now it just tells me where that was. So by hitting the run button, it has taken me exactly where I need to go. So JSON.size, size dot as float. I don't think that works. Maybe it works. Okay. As float. Why not? Let's try it. And we'll probably actually get another error because that changed the database, so I've got to update the database number, which would be in the app.db right here, app database. So probably need to change this to an 8, but let's see. Right, you're gonna error or something. Did it just pop up and then run away? I think it did. Gradle build finished with a warning. And then an error, and what happened here on the run page? Terminated. It had to error out right away, didn't it? Yes. There we go. Yes, we did get that error that I thought we would get. And this, I love Room for this. This is so cool. It looks like you've changed schema but forgot to update the version number, and it tells you how to fix it. They've done a really good job on this. Alright, we running? It's unclear what's going on. We don't have any errors. That's true. But we don't have anything else either. So let's come in here and oh look, we don't need to convert these to floats anymore. That's nice. Let's go into the message parser. Come on up to the top here. Read match, and let's log this. Just because I want to see something happen here. We're just going through, doing some checks, making sure the data's flowing, that sort of stuff. And this E method right here, this is just an extension method that I've made. Send this exts file, and I'm pretty sure I'm actually using U red and green, so I'm not sure why you'd show up as not being used. That's strange. But this is the E function, just logs. Just a log function to help us. Easier than typing log.e and having to add a tag. Okay, so error. Null. Yay, there we go. String cannot be cast to float. Right, so presumably we are getting the data as a float and here, or we're getting it as a string. So what we really want to do is, what is the method? Is it string dot, no, it's float dot parse string, right? Float dot parse, no. String dot parse float? Alright, I guess I have to Google that one. Parse float Kotlin. To float. Is that it? Yes, so it'd be to float. So and I'm going to use the middle click to grab both of those, and then delete, and then click there, delete dot to float? Nope. To string. What type are you, JSON thing? Let's find out. JSON of thing dot, what are you? JSON.get. Oh, it isn't any. So yeah, we do sort of have to. Oh, look at that. We can use get double. Why can't I just get float? That's weird. So let's do JSON.get float. I guess get double, that's fine. Get double and to float it, and then so for this JSON object here, using the brackets is just shorthand for get, I'm pretty sure. So let's see if there's just a get. Yeah, so it's just the shorthand for that method. So this and this are exactly the same. So, and here, instead of using the generic get method, we can use get double and then to float. So really we could probably do get string and to float, wouldn't make any difference. But what we can't do is just the regular get, because then that would give us an any object back, which is, you can't to float on an any, you can only do it on a string. or a double, or something that would make sense for that. So let's .getString .toFloat. All right, let's see how that works. Looking over at chat, Andrew asks, "Is this pure Android Kotlin?" Yes, this project is entirely in Kotlin. There's no Java here. And there's only a little bit of a layout file at the moment too. We're only using a layout file for, the only reason we have a layout folder is to define a completed trade row. And we could do this pretty well without the layout folder too. It's just nice to have. And is there an Android course for Kotlin on Treehouse? There is. There's both a sort of a Java for Kotlin developers, which builds the back end, or rather a headless solitaire app, which is pretty cool. And so it's like you click run and it sort of plays a game of solitaire, and we get all the way to the point of testing it by writing a test to play solitaire to see if you can win. And then the second course after that uses Anko, which is the library I'm using here for the layout, and builds the UI for the solitaire app as an Android app. So you build a solitaire app in Kotlin. So that's a pretty cool course. And it's actually in the, let's see, so Android Kotlin, and then you get from the developer's website, let's see, resources to learn Kotlin, and then they recommend that course too, which is pretty cool. Okay, so back over here, we ran it. It ran. Those are bigger orders than we had last time. That's good. And then now we can see that these are actually numbers, which is good because they are numbers. And we may have to end up fixing that for a lot of these other ones too, unfortunately. But we can, you know what? And as, let's see, new size, old size. Yeah, let's not do that now because it'd be boring. But we will probably do that, and I think it would be a good idea to do it now just so we remember, but we're not going to forget, because if it becomes an issue, we'll solve it. So, and look, we got a bigger one at 55 there, and we can, I think we can turn off, so if we get one that's 100 or something, so that's why we wanted to filter by the size, and unfortunately when we upgraded the database version from 7 to 8, that looks like it reset the database, so we lost all that data we had from running it for the past 10 or 15 minutes or however long it was up running. We don't have that data anymore because we updated the database version, it seems. Cool, there's a 95. Can somebody do 100 though? Somebody could just get over 100 so we can see if this is too small, which I think it is. Anyway, it just looks too small, doesn't it? And it's weird how this is showing either padding or whatnot, just a little padding after there and after this one too. A little goofy. Alright, so you've got decimal points lined up, which was something we needed. We've got these decimal points lined up. Getting the time and local time, is that something that we can do easily? Let's see, so we go into the adapter. We've got the time. We'll grab the substring after t. Oh, that's... So the time row is the date, then the letter t, and then this, and then it even gives you the decimal percentage of seconds too, which we just cut off. But we should get, I wonder if we can get what hour it is now. Oh, that wouldn't work. We'd need to convert that. We wouldn't want to convert the time here. We'd want to convert the time when we insert it into the database, probably. Or actually, wait a minute. Let's see, this says 18. Well, here's an easy solution. This says 18. This says 11. So let's just subtract 7. Yeah. Actually, I think we're going to leave it. So, getting into the time stuff would be... It's something that you would do, but I don't know that it's something that we need to do yet. It seems like more of a finishing touch. because ideally you'd want, you'd need this time to be the local time, and that's just not, you'd want to, I guess you could figure out your GMT plus time. I'm just not familiar enough with the time stuff to know that I'd be able to do that very quickly, but let's get some Googles in here and we can see what's up. So Android get GMT offset, is that gonna work for us here? Okay, let's grab that and just paste it somewhere. Let's go with main activity, just paste it at the top here. And you should paste in Kotlin, because that's how this works. That is exactly how this works. So see, copied Java code and I pasted Kotlin code. Whoa, so cool. Gregorian calendar, sure, import from whoever. Import, why not? Import it. You got it. Required long found int. As long. You are now a long. Oh. This cast can never succeed. Okay, how about too long? Alright. And this is gonna system out print? No, let's not. Let's just do an E. And this is the hours bit, so let's cut that out. And then replace this %s, which, Kotlin improves on that a great deal with this. So $, and then in brackets, whatever you want to print, and then that'll print out right as the app turns on. And did we get one bigger than 100 yet? Let's find out. No, we did not. So let's get into the Android monitor and see what we logged. And remember, all of my logs with this E function are going to start with what is that? The accent mark and then a tilde. So easy to find over here in the Android monitor. Just type in a little accent mark like that. You usually don't need the tilde. But, oh look, there's some errors we got earlier. That's fun. So GMT offset is -8 hours. So we've got 18 there. What is that not GMT time? GMT time. What time is it? 6:19. Nope, that is definitely GMT time. So that would be 6:19. Or rather, that's 6:14, but Okay, so that is GMT time. So our GMT offset is -8, which how does that work? Because I'm at 11:20 right now, so 1 hour from now would be 12:20, and then to get from 12 to 6 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That'd be 6, so which makes 7. So where does the -8 come in? Looking over at chat, hey Dylan, and hey Bello. To Dylan, no, this is not Python, this is Kotlin, which is a newer language that you can run anywhere that Java runs, especially in Android, and recently they have, or rather the Android team at Google I/O announced that Kotlin is fully supported by the Android team, and so it's very popular and lots of people are getting on board because it's a lot better than Java. One of the big reasons why is no semicolons required. So let's try and figure out why is my GMT offset weird. So GMT offset isn't right. I'm not sure what to search for. I'm not going to spend much time on this at all, but oh, here we go. We can see, so I'm on Pacific time over in Oregon, so it looks like I'm right there in that 4 column, or whatever column that is. Let's see. So let's make this bigger. This is a good map Wikipedia. So yeah, here's this. Well, that's a weird time zone. Look, this -8 comes out over here. But okay, so yeah, that's true. I am on -8. And then so 0, of course, Greenwich Mean Time is right here. And how does that make sense? I'm gonna check my phone, make sure that's the right time. It is 11:22, and in Greenwich it's 6:22, right? Yep. And the difference between me and Greenwich is not 8 hours, right? Am I going crazy here? 6 and then 1 is 7. Okay. So let's just take this anyway. Let's get our GMT offset or whatever. And so how did we get this? We got a calendar. Then we did time zone dot raw offset dot to long, then time unit dot hours dot convert that. Okay, so it's hours dot convert this guy, and then time unit dot milliseconds. Okay, so that is the GMT offset. This is going to give us that -8 number, and then what we want to do is use this -8 number to reduce this number, which is so not right. It doesn't add up. Alright, maybe it does somehow. Let's just go over to the code where we insert data. Inserting data is done. Although, if we make the app go for the time zone that you're in currently, or that your phone's in, and you went across time zones, then your database would get all messed up. So actually, I think we want to leave the data in the database as Greenwich Mean Time, or as, you know, one specific time zone. And then as we pull the data back out, I think that's where we want to transform it into local time. Or just leave it as Greenwich time. But let's go for local time. But I think ultimately the important decision we need to have there is that, I'm just cleaning up imports here, and then I'm going to minimize the import box, is that we don't want to put the data in as we don't want to put it in as adjusted data. We want to put it in as is, because if you take your phone across the border somewhere and you start inputting data, you could, like, let's say you had your phone and you were putting in data here at, you know, 11:25, but then I went over to wherever it'd be later, like the Mountain Time Zone, and started putting in data. You know, as soon as you cross that border, you've got data that's gone from supposed to be right after that, now it's an hour before. So we want to input data in the same time zone the whole time, and then pull it out at a different one. So let's pull it out, and we do that in the adapter. And let's just minimize that guy. So time, yep, that's the time. Then we need to do a little more work with this time. So let's get val time equals, this is really time string, and then let's get val hours equals time string dot substring before that, and then what we want to do is take that dot to int, and then take this minus our GMT offset. Oh, which is not on the clipboard anymore. Get back on the clipboard. Put it on the clipboard. Then Control-Shift-O, Control-Alt-O, Control-Alt-O, imports optimized. There we go. Alright, back in parser. No, not parser, back in my adapter. There is our GMT offset, so val GMT offset. Alright, then let's take the offset, then we've got this, and we've got plus the offset, and then we want to do, so let's do this as a var, and then, because the problem here is if we are, so if it's, for example, if it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Greenwich, then that'll be minus, since we're -8, that would put us at -7 o'clock, which doesn't make any sense. So if we get a negative number here, we need to address that. So if hours, and then let's do hours equals if hours is less than 0. So if it equals, if it's less than 0, then it needs to be 24 plus hours. Else we can just be hours. Cool. And that's a bit difficult to test. So hours, and then we need the rest. So hours and var minutes seconds equals time string dot substring after, and it's the substring after that colon. So we want ultimately to have hours and then a colon and then minutes seconds, and let's see what this gives us. And I think we can get rid of the overlay that we've got going on here. So settings and show layout bounds. It's not show layout bounds. Oops. Settings, show layout bounds. And then back in here. There we go. And that is not the right time, but it is working, so that's cool. And then I'm going to search for GMT offset is off by 1. Is that a thing? Interesting. So, oh, is that it? Or is it a different time on the phone? No, it's not a different time on the phone. Gotcha. So since I think the issue with the hour is due to daylight savings time, unfortunately. So let's see if we can get Android get DST. Wow. Okay. Ah, here we go. Somebody's got the exact same issue. So, Randy, what is that start time stuff you're looking at? That looks like easier than what we've done here. So actually, let's print off. I'm going to print off the offset. So GMT offset is GMT offset, and then let's try using this instead. Let's just timezone.getDefault.getOffset. So I'm just going to put this on a new line just to hide it for now. So timezone.default.getOffset.raw_offset. Get offset. Wonder what raw offset is. .raw offset. And then comment this out, and then we'll see if that gives us a different offset than this did. Perhaps Gregorian calendar is not the way to go with this. And we still don't have an order that's over. Oh wow, and now we're printing a lot of stuff there. What is going on? And I'd like to see an order over 100 still. So I guess that ran, huh? Did we get a GMT offset print? Wow, that is a lot of GMT offset. Whew. That's not what we're looking for, at least in hours. So I think we got to bring in this bit back. Okay, so the difference is we're going from the timezone class.getDefault to, or rather from Gregorian calendar to that, and we'll see if this makes any difference, though we can sort of cheat and find out. -8, yeah, no, it does not make a difference. Darn it. So we've still okay. Oh, look at that. That's it. Okay, so we've got perhaps a way to do this. Calendar.getInstance, then we would set the time. We don't really want to set the time, we just want to get the offset. Okay, let's see. What do we have? Calendar.dst_offset. What is that? What are you going to give us? Just 16? Doesn't make sense. Calendar.get. What? So do we need a new calendar? Let's do calendar. Can we make a new calendar? Cannot create a new calendar. So calendar.getInstance, which should give us a default, and then from this we'll do this .dst.get. Once we have a calendar, then we set the time. Then we call get and we pass that in. So it's just get. And what does get take in? It takes in a field, so we take this in. Okay, so val dst offset equals that. And then let's also print that down here. So dst offset, and then we'll go with our dst offset, and then we'll run this and see what we get for the dst offset. So again, this is kind of a, this is a really important step for making the app, but it's not obviously as exciting as working on the layout. But you do want to have your times show up correctly for your people, and looks like we want to move this one over just a little bit, this view, and remember it did have some padding when we looked at it on the layout view. But alright, end the monitor here. Right, DST offset is n milliseconds. So we need to do this business again. And then time unit milliseconds. Too long. And then if that gives us a 1, we're in really good shape because we can just add that to the GMT offset and it should be giving us the right numbers. So that's going to run. We're going to come in here. It's going to say 1. Yes, we did it. Times are really, really frustrating to work with, but you have to do it, which is super frustrating. Okay, so we've got, let's put GMT offset first, then DMT offset. Let's not print them back anymore. And let's hide this to make things a little easier to see. Then here we want to do plus GMT offset plus DST offset. And remember, this is going to be -8 and then +1. Which is the difference between me and Greenwich right now. So if you're watching this from England, it is 6 p.m., almost 7. Alright, there we go. This time is correct for when that trade happened, because we're not currently sorted by most recent trades, we're sorted by biggest trades. And interestingly enough, the biggest trades of the past however long we've been going have been red or down. Alright, so that was getting the time, and as predicted, it was not as easy as you would sometimes think it was. So as a quick recap of what we had to do to get the time right, step 1, we have the hours, minutes, and seconds. We've got this string that said 18, 14, 32, and we needed to turn that string into whatever the time is for the client. So if you open this app, which after I push the update after this stream, you can open this and the time should be current to wherever you are. And if it's not, let me know, because that's a bug I can't test easily. Actually, I can test it because I think you can just change that right here, right? Location, yeah, I could just change the location or something. I think you could figure it out, but it's always cooler when you can actually test it. But so we needed to get the time right, and so what we did is we used this timezone.getDefault.raw offset, which gives us the offset from GMT, so how much time is between me and Greenwich, England, or Great Britain or wherever, and just what the difference is there. But it does it in milliseconds. So then we use timeunit.hours.convert of milliseconds to convert it into hours. And then we do the same thing for DST, except we have to use calendar, get an instance of the calendar, and then call get while passing in this DST offset constant. And that also gives us milliseconds, so we do the same song and dance to get back to hours. Then once you've got the GMT offset and any daylight savings time offset, you can combine those two and get your actual offset. So then we take the first 2 digits there, convert them into a number, and then apply the offset, and then combine it all back together, while also making sure that if this is running, say at a time where it's 1 in England, then it'll be backed up or forward or whatever, because we don't want negative hours. That doesn't make any sense. Cool. So let's come back over here, look at our layout, and we have a little bit of padding on that right side that we can get rid of, right? Do you have padding on you? Is that what you have? So this is the price text view. It does not have padding. Why are you so far over? You don't look that far over, but you are. So let's clear all constraints, then move you to here, put you right in the middle, apply the constraints again, then run it, and we should be back to pretty much being done, I think. Oh, that's good. The spacing between these looks really good. This section is stopped right there. It looks like we can add a little more there. So let's come into our adapter, and remember we set that as a hard limit of 58 dp. So this is the 58 dp line. So I think we can actually get away with maybe like 80 or something now. So let's put in 80 and run it, and then it'll pop up over there. And that is a difference between us and the actual app. So if we pull up the actual app over here, and the emulator, and this guy, so in the trade history section over here, see this 21 doesn't even make a dent, and I think that's kind of lame because most of the orders are small like that. It's not usual that you get 1,000 or a 200 or anything. So I think it's more fun to have these bars be a little bigger. So there we go, we set that to 80, and now it looks like that is the line right there. That's as big as it's going to get, because obviously 95 is bigger than 80, so that would be, and the 95 bar should be a little further away from the 77 bar. It shouldn't be about as far as 77 to 75. So there, we've got that in there. And this is looking really good. I think we've got our trade history page right about done. So to clean things up a bit, we're going to come over to here, and instead of ordering by size, because we've knocked that out of the park, let's do it by sequence again. And let's get that color at the top changed. Come on. Alright, so there we're back. This is more like what it actually looks like. And so we've got a little less than 20 minutes. Let's try and get this bar changed, and maybe, I think what we want to do for this app is maybe one screen is gonna, so this will have like a chart right here, and then it'll show the trade history below it. I'm thinking might be useful, but also I think, obviously there's more information here. We don't have the screen space to put all of this, so I think we might want to add in a navigation bar over here on the left, and a little bar at the top to say what this is and how it works. So this will say trade history in the action bar. Actually, it won't be an action bar, it'll be a toolbar, and we'll use a collapsing layout and that sort of deal, so that when we scroll, the toolbar will hide and do all that sort of nonsense. But we need to change that app bar right there, which is our app's primary dark color, I believe. Let's come into here, go res, values, colors, and I think it's color primary dark. So let's take that color and make it darker. And we're going to do that by, what color is it? First of all, I think we can find it on our completed trade, because it should be the background of this, and actually it should also be the background of our relative layout, or not, yeah, relative layout, so it is this color. So let's take this color, and let's say color darkener. Color picker, maybe? Ah, wait, there was a button over there. Stop it, let me put in my color. So I'm gonna put in my color, it's gonna tell me it's that, I'm gonna hit darken, and it gives us some options. That's 10% darker. Let's try that guy. So we're gonna take this guy, and you are gonna come into colors, and let's go ahead and update these to be, so this is the dark color, and then our original color was that. So let's make that the primary color, because it is the primary color right now. And actually, I don't know that we need to add the background color if it's set as the primary color. Let's try taking that out and see what we get. So no, that didn't work at all. Nope. Why? How? Does that even make sense? Shouldn't the background, did I like cut out the background color for this guy? Your background color should be, or did this just not, maybe this just didn't have a background color in here. Yeah. Okay, so we're definitely going to put the background color back. Let's do that. There we go. So it looks like the relative layout default background color was going to be white, which is no good and looked really, really bad. But if we have its default, we put its color back to what it was originally, then we have that, and boy, if you squint, you can, how big can we make this? That is not black. It's darker than our color and not black, so I think that's a really good color for our bar up there. That's looking good. Okay. And then let's make this a little smaller. Okay, and 11:46, that's about the right time, so that's cool. Really glad we got the time stuff done. And so I guess we'll start. Got 15 minutes left. Let's start in on that toolbar. Give me a good ground for what we're getting into next week. So, and the relative layout, let's see, do I have, how does that work? Do I have a project open? Let's see here. So Control-Shift-sign will minimize everything, and then it is easy to look for your onCreate method, or at least I thought it would be. There it is. So it is a drawer layout with a nav drawer at the bottom, which is, nav drawer is my special class that actually in this case extends from navigation drawer. But so first off, you want a drawer layout, so let's do that. Let's try that guy. So, and I think drawer layout is then your base. Yeah, so that's going to be around our relative layout. So this is drawer layout, or not. Maybe it's not drawer layout. So let's go back to that other project and Control B on that to see where it comes from. This is drawer layout, Control B. This is definitely Anko. Definitely Anko. Anko support v4. So let's see if we're missing an import in here. So Anko compat maybe? Wonder if we've got that. Let's just copy all three of those, or four of those rather. Come over here. Build.gradle, we've got those two. Which one was 9.1? We've got SDK 15 as 0.91, so we can keep that the same. Okay, then with this synced, we should be able to use, so maybe drawer layout's probably coming from design actually, not appcompat. So which two did we add there? No, yeah, well, actually it might be coming from appcompat. Not sure what the design might be for Toolbar or something. So it is a little complicated keeping your Anko stuff in line there, but it does make everything really, really easy. Has there not been trades in 4 minutes? Oh, did we get an error? HTTP 101 response, but was 520 origin error. That might be an error from GDAX itself. But let's first check to see if we have drawer layout, which we do. Okay. Then we can do these layout parameters. And we can move this one, so it's only the most exterior, the outer shell of your layout, this drawer layout guy, he needs to have match parent outside. Relative layout params, you can actually do this at the top, which is where I usually prefer to have it. So you can cut that and put it right here. But I don't think you can do it. Well, can you? Wait, maybe you can. width equals match parent. Let's do it there, if we can. Okay, that shouldn't have changed anything. Though, I feel like I should have to do more than that to set up the drawer. Like it'll complain that there's no drawer settings or something. Yikes. That so this moving the match parent stuff into there definitely did not work. Did not work. Let's move those back. So now L params are back on the outside there, so it'll all be to match parent, which is what we need. Alright, there we go. And drawer layout, again, we've just wrapped our relative layout in a drawer layout. We haven't done anything with it, so this code should just work. But I wonder if we get a drawer. We do not. There's no drawer. Can't drag anything in from the left there. So we've just wrapped it in a drawer layout, no big deal. And then let's see what we need to do. We've got the stuff inside. We can add this in. So for me, nav drawer is a relative layout. What do you have that's, what makes you special, nav drawer? Oop. Then, okay. I think you might actually set it in the activity. Do on drawer item selected listener. Okay. The plot thickens. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. Nav drawer. What do we do with the listener? Ah, okay. On drawer item selected listener. But how does the drawer open? I think that might have something to do with the toolbar, which is kind of come in with this project from top cards would be fine, I think. Is there a toolbar here? Toolbar. Ah, cancel. Where do you get used anyway? There, somewhere in there? No? There, toolbar. It doesn't look like we do anything with the drawer layout here. Just set up behavior and such. Though I know you have to open the drawer. That's for sure. So, for example, nav drawer. Okay, drawer layout dot close drawers. That's interesting. Do we ever have to call open drawer? We do call open drawer. There we go. Drawer layout. We call it, aha, so we call it, we get our toolbar and we set the navigation on click listener. So when the toolbar, so on the little hot dog button on your toolbar or hamburger or whatever, the 3 dots in the upper corner, you touch, or the 3 lines, not the dots, upper left corner, which I guess for the camera would be over here, even though that's my right. You set that so that when you click on that, it'll open the drawer. But where else do we open it? Because it should open from also swiping in. But okay, let's check out, where were we? Top cards view, toolbar. So let's come back over here and add, enter, enter, come on, you got this. I think tool bar Alright, we got toolbar, that's a good start. What do we need? We need a title. And we can add scroll flags and such too. Let's just start with setting a title. Title equals hello world. Something not contentious, easy to set. And we'll see if that gives us our toolbar. Okay, so then what have I done? Toolbar. Oh look, we had to set layout parameters on it. And first we had to get the action bar height. That's frustrating. So this activity, or rather we could just type theme, can't we? Theme. So this is going to get, this line of code is going to get the action bar size, so the height of your action bar, and which we need to set the toolbar. So the toolbar here is just sort of, it just sort of exists, but we need to actually give it some width and some height. So the width is going to be match parent, and the height is going to be action bar height. And then I'm just going to quickly check to make sure that's what was done here. It was, except I used named parameters, which is fine. And then we have scroll flags to make it so that it will scroll out of the way when we scroll down. But we are not to that step yet, so let's look at this. And it says we've got some error somewhere, but it's lying. I think it's lying, yeah. These red squigglies, that is a lie. You are lying to me and I don't like it. Okay, so we're gonna run this, see if we get a toolbar. We do not get a toolbar? Doesn't look like. So, toolbar, does the relative layout have to be below the toolbar even? It might. Because a drawer layout gives us that, and then it has a nav drawer at the bottom. This nav drawer, you need to have something to tell you that you're the nav drawer though, right? Nav drawer, fine, we'll just jump into nav drawer again. No, I guess not. Go away, go away. Where did activity go? Alright, we're back in the activity, where we've got a drawer layout that is both match parents, then it has that. Why are we not getting a toolbar? I wonder. Maybe, so let's look up drawer layout and see if it's, because it's going to be, so Android drawer layout, and let's see. Primary content, I guess we can read creating a navigation drawer. So match parent. Initialize the drawer list, yeah. This looks like stuff we'll work through in the next video. But first, I want my toolbar to show up, darn it. Give me a toolbar. Let's go into here. My toolbar again, which we're including in this project. We're including it from a file. Oh, right. We have to do that, don't we? At bar layout. And then what are you talking about? You don't have access to app bar layout. Design. Let's see, I wonder if there's any imports in this project that we don't have in the other one. App compat and design are both here. Maybe we need design one. And it's going to want me to use 25. Let's just update it. Hopefully whatever error I'm referencing there is not a big deal. Okay, got that. Are you okay with our app bar layout now? No. So let's just grab. So app bar layout has a toolbar in it, and then it gets these parameters. So let's pull that in to our app bar layout. And just since we're naming parameters there, let's go ahead and name them there as well. Okay, oh, it looks like that was fixed, so let's run this now. And I think the key there was that toolbar is great, but it needs to be inside the app bar layout. The app bar layout is the section that goes at the top of the app. And then the toolbar is the part that goes inside it. So you can have more than just your toolbar. There we go, we've got it. And your app. Let's see what we're printing for action bar height here. So action bar height. So again, you might have, for example, let's see, if you had like the toolbar and it had the name of the app, but then you had just a little bit more information you wanted to show below that, that could still be part of the action bar, but it wouldn't necessarily be part of the toolbar, which is why we have to put the toolbar inside this app bar layout guy. And 168, that looks fine. That's correct. Height of wrap content, that looks good. But I bet if we turn on the constraints, or not the constraints rather, but we show the layout bounds here, I bet this doesn't look quite as good. Nope, that looks fine. What is going on? Relative layout, do you not want to be below that? You should be happy with being right where you are. My adapter, layout manager, parent. This view. What if we make this? We're gonna make this red, which is FF0000. So if we make the relative layout red, are we gonna see a bunch of red there? And no, we don't. Okay. So is our relative layout not showing up? What is going on? App bar layout finishes there. Drawer layout finishes down there. And this project, we have the recycler view inside some other view, but I don't think that that's necessarily an issue. We have the drawer layout with the placeholder, and the placeholder is going to be set with, again in this project it's going to be set with this stuff. So it's going to give you your toolbar inside your app bar layout with a bunch of flags, and your recycler view inside a vertical layout, which have match parent for parameters. So let's try changing those to be match parent and see if that's the issue here. Width match parent, height match parent. Yes, please. it would still be red here because that's the color we're setting. It was red for a second, but then we were overran by our action bar. So I think gotta stop. We've gone a little over time. So I'm going to take a second to just clean this up to the point where if I push this commit, it'll run like we were seeing it run, and then we'll move back and I'll just kind of comment out some of this stuff. Like really just this drawer layout stuff. Comment that out and we will have to get back to it. And then, oh, actually let's Control Z back to our right color that we want in here. And then I will comment this stuff out. Action bar height, and let's run this because we really, you know, if anybody's going to pull this down from GitHub, want to leave them with the project that runs. Don't want to leave off somewhere that's not going to run. Though this is going to be the next step. We're going to put in the action bar and the other stuff like that, and let's just turn off showing layout bounds again. Cool. Oh, this is the Stormy app from the Treehouse Stormy project. But back in the app, everything's working, looks great. This is what time it is. Trades are coming in. So next week we will make some changes to bring in a toolbar and an action bar, or toolbar rather, inside an app bar layout, and we'll make it so that when we scroll, the toolbar disappears, as well as we'll bring in a navigation drawer, which I'm not really clear what's going to go on all those pages and how we're going to organize it all, but we'll just see how all that fits together. And yeah, so cool. We'll do that next week, and thanks for hanging out.